Honorable Dean, Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Dr. Khalid Manzoor Bhatt, worthy faculty and learned students, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed a privilege to be addressing such an informed audience and bright upcoming generation of students. I am particularly grateful to Honorable Dean for giving me this opportunity. The subject is quite vast, so my endeavor is to keep it short and simple. Accordingly, I have tailored my talk to following areas only. I'll first define war and warfare, followed by changing character and new economics of war, a word on land, air power versus sea power, what is United States Navy doing in Indian Ocean, and finally few takeaways. Let us see first what is war. Famous Prussian strategist Karl von Clausewitz defines war as an act of violence intended to compel an opponent to fulfill our will or political aims. In his famous work titled On War, first published in 1832, Clausewitz further suggests war to be continuation of policy by other means. University of Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, meanwhile, provides another definition: an actual, intentional, and widespread armed conflict between political communities. Given these definitions, following points become relevant. War is a political endeavor. It must have clearly defined political objectives. Political objectives are translated into military objectives. Military objectives and political objectives cannot be separated. Military force must remain subordinate to political goals. Classical war is international war, a war between different states. Fights between individual persons does not count as war, nor does a gang fight or a feud. A word on warfare. Warfare or war fighting refers to the techniques employed in a war by each warring side. While on this note, it is important to note that the nature of war, that is violent political clash of wills, remains constant. The character, that is warfare or war fighting techniques, continues to evolve as technology advances in each era and with each generation. So has been the case in 21st century. Moving on, changing character and economics of war. Technological advancements in the ongoing century have radically transformed the character of modern wars. In the ongoing and recent conflicts in Europe, South Asia, or the one in the Middle East are any measure, the economics of war has too been turned upside down. Of particular significance is the use of precision-guided missiles and drone technology. These instruments of war fighting have been defining weapons for surveillance and strike purposes by small, middle, and even major powers. Let us take a look at some of the major losses suffered by the United States in the ongoing war. Drones and precision-guided missiles inflicted most of these damages. Please note the cost of each platform as indicated in the slide. Contrast the losses of US, as listed over here towards the end, against the cost of Iranian suicide drones, such as Shahed 136, each costing roughly $20,000 to $50,000. Iranian ballistic or cruise missiles, meanwhile, cost around $1 to $2 million per unit. And these are just a few I have mentioned. There's much, much more to it. So what is the difference between land, air, and sea power? Very briefly, both Army as well as Air Force generally function within the geographical boundaries of a state. A Navy, on the other hand, predominantly operates in international waters, which begin just 12 nautical miles from a country's shores. A Navy has to protect maritime communications, or what are called the sea lines that transport strategic and commercial goods. In other words, a Navy, apart from war fighting, is required to protect economic interests of a state. Nothing explains the role of a Navy better than the ongoing conflict with ceasefire that was just announced. a small passageway called Strait of Hormuz has paralyzed global economy. The choking of Hormuz by IRGC, Iranian Navy, has threatened a deep global recession. A word on United States Navy and Indian Ocean. Until the beginning of ongoing war in February last, there were 13 fully operational military bases that United States maintained in the Gulf region. All these 13 bases are now deserted, their operational military capability destroyed or reduced to zero. Essential US personnel shifted to hotels. While on this point, I would like to make a particular mention of one General Wesley Clark, a retired US Army 4-star general and former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO. According to General Clark, back in 2001, he was shown a memo by a high-ranking colleague at the Pentagon. The memo detailed the United States strategy to take out 7 countries in next 5 years, starting with Iraq, followed by Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing with Iran. And this is, by the way, available on internet. You can Google and see it yourself. The statement of General Clark. And Israel. On its part, Israel's top spy agency, Mossad, maintains 3 stations in the region. Manama in Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, UAE, Baku, Azerbaijan, all meant to monitor Iran. A word on Pakistan Navy. In early March this year, Pakistan Navy launched Operation Mahfuzul Bahar. The operation came in the wake of evolving regional maritime security environment and potential disruptions to critical sea lanes. With approximately 90% of Pakistan's trade connected via sea, the operation aimed to ensure that vital sea routes remained safe, secure, and uninterrupted. Finally, few takeaways. Ongoing war is projected to hasten the demise of existing world order. China and Russia will set the stage for new world order. The decline of United States military and economic power is now almost certain. United States dominance in West Asia and Indian Ocean region is projected to diminish in the foreseeable future. The era of huge manpower-intensive armies, large naval platforms like aircraft carrier may be coming to an end. It is being replaced by cheap air defense equipment and mass production of offensive and defensive drones beside precision-guided missiles. The Iranian strategy, that is A2AD, anti-access and area denial, duly leveraging geography, has overturned United States Navy's unchallenged supremacy at sea since the end of World War II. Following the philosophy of famed maritime theorist Alfred Mahan, the United States maintained a formidable naval force of 11 aircraft carrier battle groups, the largest in the world. Mahan's philosophy seems to have run its course. It may no longer be applicable for wars in this century. The biggest challenge, finally, to militaries around the world will be attracting, integrating, and preparing Gen Z for future war. I thank you all.